how you feel is going to feel more like an attack unless you've created an absolute space of safety. And I think one of the breakthroughs in our relationship was when you finally felt like no matter what, no matter if you're at your worst, I was going to love you anyway.
And she is afraid of him changing his mind about her and not wanting to be with her anymore and thinking that she's a horrible person now.
Right.
And he thought that she was amazing when they got married, or, you know, up until he started having all these issues with her in your childhood, in other relationships.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times there is some sort of trauma there that is also perpetuating everything that I just said. And I feel like, though, when you're in a secure relationship and someone has proven to you that they love you no matter what you do, it can take a while for you to believe that, you know, because all the other examples you've had, that's not the case.
Instead of trying to fix or change someone, you can influence them by your actions and the leadership and you taking the first step. And then you can tell them directly what you want. I want you to do this. I don't like this. I don't want you to do this. Especially as a man, this is one of the things I had further down, but is that's one of the ways to handle the communication of it. But we'll get more to that. But I wanted to finish up talking about why women sometimes lack empathy for men or don't care about a man's feelings. Another intrinsic reason, internal, is because women are fragile, right? You know, it's like a woman is like a glass ornament. You have to be careful. They don't have very much defenses, right? They're not as tough or thick-skinned as a man. A man's like a stone. A woman's like a glass ornament. And so when you as a man try to tell a woman about how you feel or how she's hurt you or done you wrong, she's more likely to be defensive because there's not a lot of protection there. She doesn't have as thick of a skin usually. And so that's something that you have to keep in mind. And it's not a bad thing in this, like the defensiveness part of it is, but you want your woman to be fragile. You want her to be delicate is maybe another way of saying it. You don't want her to be like a stone. You don't want her to be tough like you are. So you as a masculine should be tough. You should be able to take a little bit more. You know, you should be careful when you're dealing with her, knowing that, yeah, you do have to wear kid gloves. You do have to be a little more careful because she's more fragile, because that criticism, it can go a long way. Something, I forgot where was it? Maybe it was something that we watched, but she was saying that if a woman says, "Oh, I don't like that lipstick," then she's never wearing that again. Or it's like, oh yeah, because it was about the defensive.
You did that with the breakfast biscuits.
Oh yeah, with the breakfast. But then I secretly ate them all. So.
Wow. You were like, these are so unhealthy. Why did you buy them? Eats them all himself. Well, this is a Costco box, mind you.
I was just making the point that a breakfast bar is the same as a cookie. It's just a cookie you're eating but I ate them for dessert, for snacks, you know.
Yeah, we'll check the cameras.
Yeah. I might have had one with my coffee, but I can eat a cookie with my coffee. I'm an adult. So.
That's funny.
But yeah, so the point is that a woman is more fragile. And so the thing, just you talking about how you feel is going to feel more like an attack unless you've created an absolute space of safety. And I think one of the breakthroughs in our relationship was when you finally felt like no matter what, no matter if you're at your worst, I was going to love you anyway. And it didn't change how I felt about you. I think that from my observation, helped you to drop some of the defensiveness, because once you had seen that and really believed that was true, then that I think changed.
Are we going into that part? Because
if you want
might
to.
as well.
Sure, yeah.
I do think a part of women being defensive, whether they know it or not, is they're afraid. They're afraid of their man having all these problems with her and then not wanting her anymore and then leaving her or cheating on her or whatever it is. And I know this is more about men and their feelings, and they're going to be like, no, women don't care, but they do care. Yeah. Like a woman will stay loyal to a man that she loves. Right. And she is afraid of him changing his mind about her and not wanting to be with her anymore and whatever, or thinking that she's a horrible person now.
Right.
And he thought that she was amazing when they got married, or, up until he started having all these issues with her.
Right.
And I think women, whether they are actively thinking about that or not, and most of the time they're not actively thinking about that, it's just ingrained in them.
Right.
So they're going to defend themselves and why they didn't do it wrong, and, that you did it too. And so they could be like, look, like, then if I'm messed up, then you're messed up.
Yeah.
Or no, I didn't do that. I'm still the perfect woman that you married.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to preserve that, because the more that you have to accept that you hurt somebody,
right,
the more afraid you become that they're going to leave because you keep hurting them. When in reality, everybody's going to get hurt no matter what.
Right.
And sadly, if I'm being honest, like, unless you are in a secure relationship or have had a healthy relationship, people do leave you when you make mistakes, or they do treat you poorly when you make a mistake in your childhood, in other relationships. Yeah. And so a lot of times there is some sort of trauma there that is also perpetuating everything that I just said.
Right.
And I feel like, though, when you're in a secure relationship and someone has proven to you that they love you no matter what you do, it can take a while for you to believe that, you know, because all the other examples you've had, that's not the case. So that's also perpetuated, like, I have to defend myself and like prove that I'm great because all these other people left.
Right.
So, and then when you finally realize, oh, they're not leaving because you've proved it, you've yelled and vibrated and kicked and screamed or whatever, and like they're still there, then you're like,
and they love you more for it.
Right. I still don't know how that works, but I'm glad that it does.
Yeah.
But that's when I feel like you really start realizing, like, okay, I don't have to defend myself. Like, this person loves me, even when I make mistakes, even when I hurt them, they love me. And I don't have to prove that I didn't mean to do it, or that they did it to me before or first. That you can just empathize with what they're coming to you and care that the person who loves you at your worst and through all your mistakes and is still here, still loves you even more. Why would you not care about them being hurt?
Exactly. And what I always tell you when we have discussions about it, I was always like, the thing that I came to you about, that I don't even care. That's not even a big deal. It's how you responded. That became the big deal.
Well, that's how women are too. You know what I mean? Like, you've done it too. Like, I'm not doing that thing, but I'm just saying that, like,
it's common. It's what we do.
Right.
As humans.
Because I remember the apple cider vinegar gummies or something. And you're like, what? You're not even eating them. And I was upset. And I just told you I was upset. And then you got defensive about it. And then, we went on this spiral. So I'm not trying to do tit for tat.
No, I know.
That was poor timing. But I'm just saying that, like, it's very easy to, when your partner's like, hey, this happened and it really hurt my feelings, to be like, oh, well, this hurt my feelings that you did. Or, oh, well, you did that not that long ago, and whatever, like, instead of just being like, oh, I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings, I didn't mean to do that, and giving them a hug and telling them you love them. You go straight to defending yourself.
Which makes it worse, because now whatever you did that hurt them in the first place, on top of that, you're adding, I don't feel understood. Which is worse. It feels worse to have the person that you love most in the world not understand you or care about you. And that's, and that's why, even though, like, what you said is absolutely accurate and great, when women are trying to do this to appear to be more perfect or to not be wrong, so they're defending themselves because they're afraid that they're going to be left or the guy's not going to like them anymore. It's actually the opposite.
It's actually pushing them to not like you more.
Because everyone knows this intrinsically. Who do you like more? Someone who is perfect and does nothing wrong, or someone who genuinely apologizes, genuinely owns the things that you have a lot, like, if there's a movie and you watch a character in the movie and there's a character that's just perfect, they never do anything wrong, they're just perfect, you actually don't like them. You kind of hate them, actually, right? They're kind of drive you nuts, right? You're like, you got a case of the Mondays, like, stop it, right? But if you have a character that is flawed, but they own up to their flaws and they're empathetic and they apologize, or they can recognize when they've done something.
Mm-hmm.
That character is extremely likable. And so if you want to be more liked, and especially, you've seen the little thing where the guy's like, a man apologizing.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then he's like, woman apologizing. Nope.
Yeah, but I think it is like both.
No, it is. But
know.
it's a character of it, because it's men's, like the reason why that went viral is the same thing like this. The whole concept of this podcast episode is that men experience in life is that women never apologize and women never own up to their mistakes and they don't take accountability. Right. And so if you're the rare gem of a woman that does, he's not going to love you less. He's going to love you more. He's going to be like, wow. He's like, my wife actually owns up. She says she's sorry. Everyone else in the men's group is like, what? How did you do this? What is, they're going to be shocked, because it's generally men's experience that doesn't happen.